When making a player character in a tabletop RPG like D&D or Pathfinder,
I used to find a lot of my ideas were falling flat. I didn't find them compelling. They didn't work with the group, or I felt the class and build I'd made didn't match with the characterization I wanted. I've also been watching One Piece lately, so want to talk about that. So here's how we can all learn about good characterization from One Piece. Beware of spoilers from One Piece for like up to episode 516 or chapter 597.
Everything I'll be talking about is going to be pre-Marineford.
So in particular, we're going to be looking at one of the Straw Hat crew and how their characterization is so strong that a single shot of just their legs made me have a visceral, physical reaction. Roronoa Zoro. So, let's say you've made your character build. Mechanically, they are, in this instance, a fighter, and your stats are all rolled. Now, you're probably used to seeing 5th edition's ideals, bonds, flaws, traits boxes, and those can be helpful guys, but I think it misses what is most important above all else. What does your character want? They need a tangible goal. Looking at the Straw Hats, each and every one of them has a tangible or intangible goal, something that they are working towards, and being on this adventure will push them towards. Luffy wants to be king of the pirates, Nami wants to chart the entire world, and Zoro, well, he wants to be the world's greatest swordsman. This goal in particular is something that, by the nature of a TTRPG, you may achieve as you level up. You'll be becoming closer to achieving your goal. It also doesn't clash with anyone else's goal on the crew. That's why Session 0 is important, making sure your characters are all going to gel, making sure none of your goals really cross each other's. Ideals can come and go as you change and as your character learns things, so I don't think it's the second most important thing, but I am putting it here because it's important to the structure of this video. So ideals are essentially the things your character believes in, or a way that they strive to be. They are sort of abstract. People can have different takes on what they mean. For the most part, Zoro's ideals, I would say, are acting honorably according to his own sense of honor as a swordsman, and he values loyalty. For example, in the Water 7 arc, when Usopp leaves the crew over their decision to retire the Going Merry, Zoro is the one to put his foot down, and Usopp must apologize before he can rejoin. He was not loyal to the captain and the crew, and he must atone for that. This is one of the many moments that demonstrates both his sense of honor and loyalty, and we'll get onto this more in the next section. If your character is an absolute paragon who is perfect in every way, there will be just a nightmare to be around. A flaw humanizes your character and makes them relatable, gives you some fun jumping off points for RP as well. Zoro's primary flaw is that he's very headstrong. His inability to relent when his mind has set on something is something that gets him to a lot of trouble, and it's usually at his own expense. He fights when he shouldn't, he doesn't back down when he should. Headstrong as a flaw can turn your ideals into problems depending on the situation. Zoro's sense of honor can become a problem the moment he's outclassed and won't back down, or he isn't fully recovered. His loyalty has also put himself in harm's way for the crew, and particularly his captain. We see this most explicitly at the end of the Thriller Bark arc, in a fan favourite moment, where Zoro risks his life, taking all the pain and damage Luffy felt throughout the arc upon himself to have the crew spared. And his sense of honour and loyalty also led to him not wanting people to know that he did it. Nothing happened. His other flaw is that he's dumb. His intelligence score would definitely be a dump stat in whatever system he's in. He can't do directions to save his life. And this, as well as his headstrong that led to the legs moment I was talking about at the start of the video. We'll circle back. The last thing I think you need is bonds. So this is mostly so your GM can work your backstory into the story, into the world building. Zoro's backstory is about him losing a friend, and about how one of his swords is hers. And that sword is one of his bonds, it's a memory. Also, the people from where he trained can be a bond. And in earlier episodes of the show, we see people he's connected to show up and stick around for a couple of arcs. Maybe more will in the future.
I mean, who knows? I certainly don't. At the time of recording, I'm in the middle of Fishman Island. Bonds also don't have to be inherently positive. If we look at Zoro's relationship with Sanji, or just anime tropes in general, you have that kind of rivalry that can often be really interesting as well. As long as it's something interesting and drives characterization, it's good.
Once you take your character's individual goal and apply the ideals and flaws into your characterization, you've now created a compelling and complex character, your bonds just sort of serve as a way to work your backstory into the narrative and the world, and can also act as a justification for your goals, ideals, and flaws.
When you see someone who's characterized like this walk into a new situation, you know exactly how they might act before anyone else in the scene does.
And that's exactly what happened in that legs moment I was talking about. Zoro has gone for a walk on his own and knows nothing about the situation on this island, knows nothing about the politics. And at this moment, we're watching a scene where, up to this moment, we think is characterizing a villain of the arc, or at least showing us just how the politics of this place works. And then we see Zoro's legs, and because of his characterization, we know exactly how he might respond to this. And although we know, nobody else in the scene does. Thanks for watching, this has been Wars in Progress, and I've been Harrison. If you liked the video, give us a like. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to see more One Piece content on this channel, then leave a comment and tell me who your favourite One Piece character is. Maybe I'll make my next video about them.